This video is from my series that walks you through how to build a career in film and television production. So this is the week we start taking action outside of our circle. This is a business of networking. You can sit, do the research, you can write, you can cut your reel, you can create treatments, you can create spec scripts, you can license or option screenplays, you can option books to be turned into screenplays, you can do showcases, you can make short films, you can do whatever you want to further your career, to build a body of work, to demonstrate that you're capable. But until you start sharing your work, getting connected to people, and taking action, you will not succeed. It's just that simple. There is no scenario where you will create your work, it will go viral on YouTube or Facebook or wherever the fuck else you put it, and then the studios are going to line up outside your door to give you a big six-figure deal because YouTube has been huge, or YouTube's going to give you a big six-figure deal. Not going to happen. You may develop an audience and you might turn it into something, but the reality is, if you want to work in Hollywood on feature film, television, streamer, whatever, award shows, indie film, you have to network. And networking begins by you taking action and you connecting with people. I once worked with a development executive who, for like 6 months, got a job as a producer, as a director of development. Might have been a creative executive. Anyway, got a job, I don't remember where, as a director of development. And she sat there and crafted these projects. Actually, I think she did it for a year. Crafted these projects, found great material, brought them into the stable, brought them into the company, hired writers to actually create a draft, do an outline, do whatever. She had piles of work, but she sat there in the execution phase and was just terrified of picking up the phone. And she wouldn't talk to people around town, even though she worked for a company that was an approved supplier at one of the big networks. She had a direct connection to the executives in development at the networks. And finally, her boss came in and said to her, "You have been here for a year. You haven't set anything up and you haven't shown anybody anything. You have 1 week to get your shit out there or you will no longer have a job. This is a job where you have to show the work. If you don't show the work, no one will buy it." I'm paraphrasing what she told me. It may have been a completely different conversation. It may have been meaner than that. It may have been nicer than that. I don't know. I'm only relaying what I was told. And she said that was the fire that lit under her ass to get her work out, the product she had created with all the writers that she had in the stable that she had been working with, out to the networks. And until she did that, she didn't get any feedback and she didn't get a single sale. Within 3 weeks of doing that, of putting herself out there, they started to get notes back. They started to get pickups. They started to get stuff put into development. And ultimately, a year or 6 months later, some of those projects were actually turned into pilots and turned into TV movies. The point here is you have to start connecting with people. And that process begins this week. Now, the preference is that you start connecting with people after we've had a conversation about what your direct message and your pitch is. You're not pitching a show, you're pitching yourself, you're pitching an informational interview. You don't have to get input from us, but if you want it and you think it can be valuable, we think it can be, then utilize the service. It's there for you. If you don't want to and you just want to hit the ground running, you got brains between your ears, use your intuition. If you think it's time to go and you're ready, then do it. But don't take any longer than this week to start connecting with people. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to start connecting with your target. And it starts with DMs, emails, calls, or whatever. However you've decided you're going to connect with these people, because you've found an email, you found them on LinkedIn, any other kind of social, whatever it is, Twitter, whatever it is, you're going to connect with those people and you're going to use these formats. Now, the great thing about the digital age is you don't actually have to hear someone say no thank you. They just don't respond to you. Think of it like Tinder. You swipe right, you swipe right, you swipe right, and someone says swipe right, and then you're connected. It's a similar kind of thing. If you swipe right on 10 or 20 and you don't get any responses, or you get 1 or 2 responses back, all right, let's say you swiped right on 10. 2 respond. Do you obsess about the 8 that didn't? No, you write it off, you move on, it's no big deal. So that's the great thing about the digital age, is you can DM and email people and never respond to you, and it doesn't really matter. It's not rejection. It's not open rejection. So it's your choice. However you want to connect with these people, connect with them. I personally like the phone. I like email and DM followed up by a phone. That's my preference. I like to blast out with direct message or emails so I can get connected to people, and then ultimately follow it up with some kind of phone call. You're gonna connect with your hit list. It's the 10 or 20 executives or key people that you've identified from your admired list. This is your hit list. Now, in your direct messages, you want to be concise, direct, and short, 3 to 4 sentences, 2 paragraphs max, and you want to research, research, research. Connect some dots, list some shows, find some relevant data points where you can try to connect and make an impression with that person. The mere fact that you're not asking them to read their script or watch their short or go to their showcase, that in itself is a distinguishing factor alone. But if you can amp it up and take it to the next level, do it. I actually once saw in a DM someone who said, "I promise I will not pitch you my ideas." Okay, I accepted, because I don't want to hear your fucking ideas. I can't help you. I'm not the guy who can do anything with your ideas. Someone probably can, but that's not me. You can also say, "I'm trying to understand how the industry works so I can start my career building to a ... Another way of adding to that pitch. It's up to you. Just make sure you make it concise and short. Make sure you use the industry and the show research and the common interest data that you've collected for those individuals from previous modules and previous work that you've collected. So you're also going to connect and ask for interviews with the mid-level people and possibly the assistants. What's your intention? Simple. Set up an interview. You're setting up interviews. How do you want to do this? Do you want to blast out to everybody all at once? I would. That's how I do it. You don't have to. You might take out of your 10 or 20 of your sort of target list, people you really want to connect to. You might take 3 or 4 of those, blast out to them, see if you get a response, see if you get any pickup. And if you don't, you might want to change the message, add a few things here and there. I don't know. I personally blast out to all of them. But that's entirely up to you, however you want to do it. If you blast out to 20 people, in success, you may get 20 responses that you then now have to manage. Fuck, how do I fit in 20 interviews, make a living, feed myself, get some sleep, and do the shit I need to do and hang out with my friends? That's a high-class problem, but you might want to break up how you send stuff out to folks. But ultimately, the intention is to set up interviews. That's the job. That's what we're striving for. Okay, now in success, you get an interview. You gotta button that interview down. Make sure that you send them an email confirmation with the date, the time, the place, meaning a format. Is it a meeting? Is it a Skype? Is it a Zoom? Is it a call? What is it? Are you the person initiating it, or are they? I personally would like to be the person to initiate it and set it up, but some executives don't want that, so be accommodating. Every executive, every mid-level person, they have their own way of communicating with the outside world. You just need to be respectful of that. Be appreciative. Thank you for taking the time. Always be thankful. And expect reschedules. It happens. This is not a reflection on you. It's not the end of the path. The job in entertainment, and I'm talking about the people you're trying to get the time of, is like drinking from a fire hose all the time. It is nonstop putting out fires, or it's nothing going on. Those are the 2 poles of what a desk for an executive looks like when you're working in film production or film and TV production. It's nonstop, it's 7 days a week, and it feels like it's 24 hours a day. So don't be surprised if you get rescheduled. They will happen. If they reschedule twice, I would move on. Don't set up or offer a third unless they come back with a time and a commitment. but that's it. No matter who they are, if they come back a third time and say, okay, let's do it this time, this date, and they blow that off, that's it. Move on. Don't waste your fucking time with these people. I don't care who it is. Have some self-respect. Don't take the third meeting. It's probably not going to be worth your time.